I'll make a motion to approve Julie's report, treasurer.
I'll second the motion.
Sender in the second from Derby to approve the treasurer's semi-annual report. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
If you guys want to sign it and then stamp it. Do you want to approve?
Oh, you want to stamp?
Yeah.
Change these.
Just gonna say, have you changed the date yet? I know.
Sure, wait for me to stamp it and then.
But no, I was just gonna open my mouth. And a lot of people don't like that.
Did you do 2 originals?
I'll make a copy and get you one.
Next time, could you please make 2 originals so that I can have one in my office too?
I'll just get part of this.
Can I wait to look it over, or do I need to?
You should, you too. I mean, it's all the same. And I'll drop it off.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Round 6. Scott in here. 75. So, yeah, it is.
Hello.
Scott, we're ready for you if you're available.
Yep, be right up.
Thank you. Do we need to hang it up? Or is he, that light went off. Yeah, I guess I'll have to hang it up.
Melissa?
Hey, how are you?
Morning.
Morning.
Morning. I think everything I have is on the agenda, quite a list of things there.
You guys got any for, have questions? All right, we'll move on to number 7. Consider for approval, temporary easement and bridge replacement project, Eden Township, section 29.
So I actually have the final 2 easements for this project, so there are 2 to approve. One with Raymond and Jody Smith, one with Tressa Larson. They're for the same projects. Small temporary easements with relatively small values. And Tressa Larson's is actually donated, so. The one with Raymond and Jody Smith was $191.36. So pretty minor. Temporary easements will expire at the end of the project. Just needed to have a little bit of extra space for contractor to work and put in the bridges. So each one has a signature block on the bottom when it's approved.
Both those plans. Both temporary. The temporary easement and the plan and specifications. Probably should have got two different, numbers. Temporary easement.
All right, a motion from Andrew and a second from Jensvold to approve the temporary easement for bridge replacement project, Eaton Township, section 29. All in favor, say aye.
Aye. Motion to approve the plans and specs. With, all those numbers.
And I'll second it. Motion from Andrew and a second from Jensvold to approve the plans and specifications for the 2020 bridge replacement projects with all the numbers listed.
So these are the cover pages for each plan set, and they have a signature block, which I guess signatures from all three of you are the way we've done it. So
All right. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
what are you doing?
Trying to copy and paste it, but it's not. This mouse doesn't like me today.
Scarlett, you can sign these two too then?
We'll notarize them so you can give them to her. And Carla, that's a little bit time sensitive too. Could you do that for me today?
Yes.
My submittal date for the plans is today, so I sneak them,
I will do it right
kind
after
of
the
snuck
meeting.
in just in time.
That seems. Deposit.
What's interest?
Yeah.
Okay. Possible drainage, she has.
Gary.
Call it Carla. I think she's 7511. Yeah.
Is Chris right there?
Yeah.
We're on drainage?
Oh, okay, I'll send it over.
Thanks.
Well, you got here just in time for it.
I did, just in time to leave.
Oh.
Morning.
Good morning. have anything?
I do not.
Anybody else?
I don't know if you talked about anything last week when I was gone.
Too much, I don't think. Jumps out at me.
Probably should look at YouTube. The whole,
The whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess the only thing I had was on the next item.
Okay, well, we got a little time to squeeze that in then. Consider for approval pay estimate number 1 to J. Petticord for DD 11 Lower Main Tree Removal Project.
Yeah, I don't think I gave that to him.
Any of you guys been out to see their progress? How are they doing?
Now, that was still done. I talked to the engineer and he thought, he wasn't sure if we could just let it flow now and see how it drains. He thinks just getting the trees out of there would be a big improvement without.
Sure. Well, it really, I think there's pretty good grade on that, so I wouldn't think sedimentation would be too bad through there.
About that?
Pretty curvy, but
Yeah, well, we're still working on that.
Are 90% done?
Yeah. You were
Less
go ahead.
than 90%
I have
done.
not been by lately, no.
did any of the burning yet?
I don't really know they have.
I know they were burning last Friday.
I went by, I can't remember which day it was, and I could smell the smoke.
Yeah, all of last week was smoke. Well, other than the rest did.
Yeah. I've had no complaints from landowners. And I know Rick and his guys have said they've been doing a great job. Happy with their work. So,
I'll make a motion to approve the pay estimate for Petticord and lower DD 11 lower main tree removal project.
Second that. A motion Garvey, second from Stetser to approve the pay estimate number 1 for J. Petticord for DD 11 Lower Main Tree Removal Project. All in favor, say aye. Aye.
and it for me?
Yep.
All right, thanks.
Ready to go.
69.
64 trees.
Is Al coming in?
He's out there. We're ready for you, Al.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay, 9:15 a.m. Al Hagan to discuss a possible action, Rice Lake property taxes.
All right, I'm the president of the golf course, Rice Lake. We've been kind of on a downward spiral financially, and we're looking for some assistance on our property taxes. Done some research on property taxes around, I don't know if you guys are aware, but 20 years ago, we had 430 members at Rice Lake with a waiting list. Currently, we have about 250 members with no waiting list. So our numbers are down, income's down. Just for the year 2019, we're at $55,000 negative for the year. That doesn't,
We probably should have some up here.
No, I called her, and she's not in till a little later, but he's already talked to her.
I know. All right.
I've done some research on other golf courses around. I don't know if you're aware, but Forest City, Garner, Britt has all given their courses back to the cities or the counties or whoever. Goose, is that owned by the county or? They, so really what's left is, we're the only one left in the county, Rice Lake is. Northwood is left in Worth County. Mason City Country Club is left in Cerro Gordo County as far as I know. Livermore, Spring Valley, and tried to get some information on some Albert Lee courses because they're kind of similar, but Northwood's taxes are $3,600 a year. Rice Lake's taxes are $18,646. Northwood's a 9-hole course, Rice Lake's 18, so we have about twice as many acres, both rural. Rice Lake's almost 100 years old. 2022 will be 100 years old, so. We're just hoping for a decrease in our assessment. I have talked to Sue, very helpful, but, what she could do was limited, she told me, so we're looking for something more substantial. You guys have any questions about anything?
You have a figure in mind that would make it
Well,
palatable?
you know, we're very similar to Northwood. Northwood pays $3,600 a year in taxes. If you double that, that's $7,200 a year. That's a big drop, but, you know, that's where we're looking.
So your valuations, what do they have, the
Golf course is currently assessed at $892,000.
total?
Yes. Northwood's at $290,000. Mason City Country Club's at $814,000. We're the highest assessed value that I could find except for Wedgewood and Elberly.
So the 892 you're talking, is that after she adjusted anything, or?
No, 4. Greenlee, if you're familiar with that in Elberly, is assessed at 576. 18 holes in the city. Lake Mills is rural,
That's
Northwood's
in-
rural.
That's in,
Greenlee is in the city limits,
yeah,
yes.
It's just north of, isn't that just north of the fairgrounds?
Yeah. Yep. North and west a little bit. Rose Lake, are you familiar with Rose Lake, Fairmont, Minnesota? Another rural 18-hole course.
Drive by all the time.
Their taxes are $7,800 a year. Another
that's
rural
18?
18-hole course.
Yeah, so.
193 acres. Rice Lake has 136 acres.
I think there's nothing the supervisors can do for valuation. I think that's up to the board of review. Have you addressed them before, or?
Nope.
Because that'll be coming up in May or whatever. We file a petition by May. I don't know if they can help in that case. But I know Sue has said that because of the code and way it's written, there's only so much she can do. But I'm sure you can make your plight to the board of review.
We can cut the taxes if we want.
I
You
think-
don't have to
I-
raise properties or, you know.
Yeah, well, I think the one thing, that was on a temporary basis, wasn't it?
No, that was so they could sell it.
It was penalty and interest though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no penalty and interest here. I think the only thing in investigation was that Melissa had come up with the possibility of what they did down at the search. Right before they went to a nonprofit status, they rebated their taxes, I think, wasn't it?
They rebated the county portion.
Right. That's all we can do is our county portion.
Right.
We can't do anything with the school.
Golf course brings a lot of people to the area, you know, especially now with the casino and they're coming over. We get a lot of Mason City, Clear Lake, Minnesota people.
Well, having talked with other board members out there, I mean, either something's gonna have to get done or it's gonna go off the tax rolls.
If we continue to lose members and continue to lose green fees, and we're looking, we can't stay in business, you know, very long. Mason City Country Club, according to the golf course people, is in the process of being sold. They didn't make it. Some members are buying it. It's what, hurt in the business.
What was it before then?
It was a stockholder, just like Rice Lake. The members own the golf course.
Well, I don't know why we wouldn't work with you. You know, get some tax dollars out of it. Otherwise, like I say, we're looking at catastrophe down the road.
I guess my fear is, you know, the golf course is probably one of the main attractions out there, other than the lake itself. But most of the traffic that comes in on that side is coming in for the most part because of the golf course. The properties are dependent on the golf course for their valuations, and if that turns into farmland, then
The
Property
valuations are gonna drop, cause,
Yeah.
a lot of people like to own a house on a golf course or near one, so.
Sue steered me to the supervisors meeting. If I need to go somewhere else, just have somebody let me know.
yeah. I guess I'd be willing to entertain a possible partial rebate for this year. And maybe after you talk to the board of review, see if there's anything they can do for you.
Okay, so I should set up an appointment with the board of review through Sue?
Well, that starts the end of April, 1st of May. I think you have to have it filed by the 1st of May.
Okay.
So you work with Sue on that to file that part of it. They usually have an organizational meeting right after the 1st of May and then set their meeting date and notify you that
Okay.
there's a chance to come and talk to them.
Actually, just for information, we obviously couldn't do anything about it. We meet today, that
Conference,
yeah.
that's,
Well, I know it's different, but it's, they're gonna have to approve it in the last, well,
the conference board doesn't approve that. No, the board of review is
that's
a
recommendation. At least it is, and they knows what the zoning board is.
I served on it for 16 years.
Okay.
And I don't remember the conference board, and I've served on the conference board for almost 10 years, well, 10 years now, and I don't remember the conference board approving anything with the board of review. So I don't know, do you have any thoughts on what you'd like to see done? What's our portion of the taxes?
I don't know.
I wonder, see if they figured that out. Do you think it's about 40% or so? Can you come up with that?
See if I can find it quick. If we can't find it quick, we could put it on the agenda for next week. It's not.
I'll get it for you.
But can you break it down?
Water should be in school.
Yeah. Just a little bit to NIAC and
Sorry. County plus debt service is about 46% of their taxes. Depends if you include county assessor levy or.
Years ago, I got offered the rake gymnasium for $1. Because I didn't want it to end up the way it is now. I mean, the road's collapsed in, and it's just been trashed. The whole history of that thing's gone. And I couldn't get them to, it had a valuation on it that was much higher than what it really was worth.
Yep.
I couldn't get it over. So I didn't buy it. Now it's what it is. They keep the crap that nobody has the money to not bring in a bulldozer and knock it away.
once you buy it for $1, then there's an actual sale involved, then the value comes down.
I was never told that. I was told the valuation would be.
Well, there's certain
Because I
square
told him
footage, there's a certain square footage, because it's just storage.
Well, I told him, I said, well, that way I could have my own operation, I wouldn't have to worry about all the fighting with all the women for the bathrooms. Yeah, I'll do whatever we can to support it, I guess.
Okay,
I'd rather not the county end up owning it.
right.
Yeah,
I'd rather see it succeed.
Yep, and it's been successful for 98 years, but it's getting tough.
And you might be able to approach the school boards and see what they'll do too.
It'd be just-
Looking at zero or just a reduced, so, yeah.
Because it's an attraction to bring people to a community too, that will also bring students to the schools, so.
Yep.
I would think that, I would like to believe that they would be accepting of lowering them, eliminating them, whatever.
All right, so my next step is to meet with, call Sue and get a meeting with the Board of Adjustment. Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, thanks Al.
So we discussed during budget talks, if we were gonna do something, how it would work.
Well, we'll go down to number 11, open forum. What's that board roll? I've got it.
How's this on? Oh, here it's Steve.
Okay. Discussion of possible action regarding updating the county policy book.
So we've had some people that have requested, doing an update to the county policy book. And, just looking to get approval or denial or whatever, put together if you decide to do it, get a committee together to talk about it.
This is what you sent out earlier, how it would look, or if you sent something out and described it
Well, I sent something out regarding the winter policy that we have currently,
currently.
but I think they're looking towards like an overall, making sure the wording is correct, making sure that we have all the legal things in there that we're supposed to, maybe clearing up some wording.
So would he look through the whole policy then again to make sure?
Yep. And what did we decide, it's been like 7 years? 7 or 8 years?
2013 since the biggest revision.
So this would be more of an approval to engage with Mike Galloway to go through the policy manual, and then we'll have a future approval of any changes.
Yep.
I'll make that motion.
Second that. Motion carried, second from Stanton to go ahead with updating the county policy book. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
I'd like to create a committee with about 5 people on it to look through the things, and we talked to Mike, and somebody wanted all the department heads. I don't think that you can have a productive conversation with 15, 16 people. I think it's easier to have a small group. Ask everybody for their opinion, but have a small group of people doing work.
You want that done in a separate meeting or
I just want you
or
to
board
be like,
meeting?
yeah, that sounds great, or,
Okay.
There are other people that think that everybody should be there.
yep,
Well, you can control that.
I think getting everyone's input is good, but I think when you sit down and try to do the work, if you have too many people, you can't even talk. I mean,
But the chair can control.
Control the meeting process. I can understand what you're saying, but also at the same time, I can understand why everybody would want their, I mean, yeah, you're gonna give them their input, but, they would probably wanna be there to represent their input. So then if we decide to go with just the 5, then the ones that wanna be there are gonna be upset.
But they can be here for what we vote on.
Yeah, that's true.
the other thing I think we need to point out is this, is we need to redo the policy book. It's not a free-for-all. It's not a, oh, I want this, I want this. It's a, we're rewording it, make sure that the wording looks correct, everything's legal, that it's, everything's in there that needs to be in there, not, it's not
But
a,
if it affects an office, then,
I'm not gonna,
no, I know you're
No,
not,
there's not gonna be,
but if it does affect the office, they should have it.
and that's fine.
Just, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's going to.
well, there shouldn't be anything that's too draconian, it's gonna be changed, I think, so it's. Probably already decided what it's gonna be. I don't know, I just made it work, but-
Listening to the wrong people. Thanks a lot.
Okay.
I think for you. So our thoughts to leave it to the chair to appoint a 5-member committee.
We'll have to open up the policy with it.
Who's gonna appoint them?
I'd ask who wants to be, do you think they'll all ask to be on it?
If
Yeah,
they do, then they can all be on it. I don't care. I think it's easier to work in small committees than it is to work in,
I would just send a memo out saying we'd like to keep this at 5 and,
We'll decide next week who the 5 are if they put their input in now.
Let people, put their name in the hat and we'll figure out where it's gonna go from
you know,
there.
I think it's a good way, if you can't do it, that'd be a good way to do
Well,
it.
that's what I'm thinking that rather than us selecting them and then.
I think there's a lot of people volunteering to write policy. Seems hard to believe, but,
Scott's on that list. He's really excited about it. Look at him.
well, I gotta,
I noticed Dave moved up.
Oh, yeah,
We don't discuss it.
All right,
It's up to you. Or it's on you.
and. Thanks. Anything else is. 9:45.
Somebody must be filing claims.
We already did that, didn't we? Oh, I just crossed it off, all right. I was gonna do it.
That's one way
before I got-
The second week you've done it.
Yeah, well, yeah, and, well, I got distracted,
That's the new way of taking care of business.
yeah. All right. You guys get a chance to look down claims?
Yes. I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Motion from Stendraus and Drury for the Sonoma County claims, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Got enough to pay for it.
All right,
We can set the number 16.
We're gonna be ready to,
yeah,
I don't know. That's the
Yeah,
yeah,
problem.
we got some work to do today before we can make.
yeah, we gotta go through our budget discussions before we do that.
We can just do this paperwork.
just set the levies at 100% from last year and then see if anybody complains.
It's an hour from now, right? I may cross my off every now and then, but at least I can tell time.
We could say that I made a mistake and then put 9:30 on there.
I'm fine with that. I hate to make him sit here for another hour without.
Well, I'm having fun, so either way is fine with me.
We could go back to drainage, being David's back now.
That was my second choice.
Yeah, yeah. So,
Just wanna talk policies.
I'm game for whatever you guys are available for.
I guess I can.
He could present his case, we don't have to say anything. Then it's legal. We're gonna do it that way,
Yeah,
because it's gonna be just, it'll have to be discussed in budget
Yeah,
meetings anyways.
all
Can
right.
you wait till Terry gets back?
Yeah, no, do we need him?
I don't know.
Beaver tail stuff here, I'm sure everybody'd like to hear about that. $150. Hunter doesn't want one. Hunter doesn't want one. You guys are going to the trap in here, I guess that's $450 here.
That's half a damn cleaner up. Is it? Oh, it's getting, and I don't blame them. You have to haul in a long stick and
I used to. Back when I could bend over.
Okay.
Yes.
Number 5.
Two patients.
Voting on paramedic to discuss funding increase.
Yeah, I know it's, at budget time, just want to bring it up. The paramedic department in Forest City, Winnebago County started in 95, 96, and in 2000, going back, looking at the records, between 2000 and 2005, our budget was close to 200,000, approximately 210,000, and the county put in 1/3 of that, so their contribution was 70, or 1/3 at 70,000. That's where it's been for at least the last 15, if not 20 years, and it hasn't kept pace with salary increases, wage increases, inflation increases, nothing like that. It's been the same, to where our city budget is, our percentage is approximately 82% from the city, 18% from the county now. We'd like to get it back to close to that 33%, because we do cover a large area of Winnebago County. In fact, Forest City Ambulance and the medics cover, just Forest City Ambulance, about 125 square miles of Winnebago County, plus doing paramedic assist with the other services. Finding staff, and as you guys know, payroll is our #1 killer of our budget. We have to keep increasing, and over the last 20 years, payroll has doubled in size. It's the only way to get people, along with the insurance benefits. That's what drives all of our costs up. So my thought of coming here today is to try and bring the county up closer to the 33% of what you guys originally started out with, back 20 some years ago. Entering another $60,000 would make a big difference. Even if you just added 2.5% inflation over the last 20 years, that would bring your guys' participation up to about 114,000 from the 70,000. That's just figuring at 2.5%. And I know in the last 5 years, my budget has increased about 5.5% with salaries and insurance just through the city. So we're getting way off kilter as far as the division of where the county and the city are paying, and we'd like to get that back as close to 1/3 as what we could. So,
Do you have any numbers that says what percentage of your calls are in Winnebago County and what are in Hancock County?
I've been working on Hancock County. And historically, if I go back, Hancock County is about 10 to 12%. Worth County is probably a little bit under that, maybe 7% is what our calls are. But I haven't done Worth counties this year. I've just got done doing Hancock counties. And theirs figured right about the 11%.
Do you have the rural for Winnebago?
The rural, dividing it out between what's in the city and what's in the rural. I haven't, our programs can't do that, but we could manually go through that by hand, go through the 1,000 calls and figure it out. But of the percentage of calls, city and county, I would say we're probably,
Not all we need to.
we're probably about 40% town, 25 to 30% county. Because our numbers increase with the care centers. So just like Buffalo Center, their numbers are driven a lot by the care center transfers, and ours are driven by the care center and by the clinic. Plus, the population's getting older and older. I mean, we're all getting up there in age, and it only makes sense that our call volume increases as well.
How many paramedics do you guys have on call at any one time?
Right now, we have 2 full-time and 5 part-time. My hope is to be back up to full-time once Spencer gets on in June. Plus, I'm going to hire another one, so it'll be back up to 4. But I've got 5 part-timers filling in. On any given day, we for sure have 1. I would say 75% of the time we have 2 covering. And in the last 6-7 months, I bet we've been only not able to cover a paramedic request from someone else maybe twice out of those 7 months. So in the grand scheme of things, that's doing fantastic as far as manipulating how we do the calls. Because the other thing what we started doing to be able to grant the county more paramedics is deciding whether the call is BLS or ALS. So if a call goes out in town for I stubbed my toe or I don't feel well, that can be taken with an EMT, leave the medic back for the more severe calls. And that has helped us a lot. So
if the force ambulance goes out, paramedic, automatic goes, normally the paramedic?
On the first out, yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yep. Unless it's, if it's in Winnebago County, yes. If it's in town and it's, let's say it's a call to the care center, depending upon the information that we get from dispatch on the critical nature of it, if it's a code 2 transfer, we may not send a paramedic on the first call. Our whole thing is we don't want to send a paramedic on a call that doesn't need a paramedic and leave it back for those that need paramedics.
I bet, means all the county puts dollars into the paramedic service. There's been people from Buffalo Center that have wondered if it would be possible to have one of the paramedics be on call over Thompson or?
If we put on one, if not two paramedics, we could have a rotating paramedic. But for right now, to put a paramedic over there, we've got one full-time that's on main call, so he's full pay, or he or she is full pay at that time, and then one that's backup, so they're just on pager time. First one goes out, the second one is up, and then if someone calls, they'll go out. If you station someone in Lake Mills, Buffalo Center, they would have to be full-time. And to do it with the staff I have right now, that'd be all overtime for them. So it wouldn't make sense to add the overtime, it makes sense to add a full-time position. So if we were able to increase the budget to add at least one more full-time on, then that would be feasible, but
They're already thinking that now, and then if we increase the budget, they're gonna think it even more. And, so it is a possibility if that happens.
right, and it's a logistics thing, Bill. You gotta decide where that paramedic is best put, whether that's in Buffalo Center, halfways at the 5-mile curve, so that you can share it between Lake Mills and Buffalo Center. Lake Mills has about 380 calls. Buffalo Center, I think, has about 150 calls a year. So,
You know, it would probably be best if it was Thompson or something like that.
right, you could stage them in between, but if we had more staff, then we could do that and get them there closer. But, you know, you start talking that, it's not only personnel, you start talking another response rate, you start talking another set of equipment and drugs.
And the majority of the calls are probably on the eastern side of the county anyway.
Well, like I said, typically Buffalo Center has between 120 and 170 calls a year. Lake Mills is about 380. Four Cities, and I'm talking transport calls. Four Cities about 640 out of 1,000 calls in transport.
And the city of Forest City, you said puts in money. Does the other cities put in money?
No, it's City of Forest City puts in the majority share of it, and then the county puts in 70,000. And my budget is, this year is gonna be about 395,000. The ambulance service from Forest City does pay, on top of that, they pay for the pager time hours. So their portion is about 30,000, but that's not figured in the city budget. The city budget is 395, you drop off the 70,000 from the county, so basically the city's putting in 325.
That's, they don't put money in directly, but they put it in tax-wise. But I'm not necessarily, I actually argued against it as far as, it would be nice, but.
As far as what?
Well, you see, and they're thinking if the paramedic is there, it means we have a shortage of, paramedics over there. You can't always cover a call during the day or whatever. And they're thinking if
The perfect plan would be, if they're short-staffed in Buffalo Center, and this is my plan, because this is the way we worked in Forest City, you staff a full-time EMT. During the day, when people have a hard time getting out of work, at night, it's normally the volunteers are easier to get in. It's during the day when people are at work out of town. So you staff a full-time EMT, plus maybe have a volunteer driver during the day. And then get your paramedic in. Because again, not every call requires a paramedic. So again, if in Buffalo Center, that main call went out to the care center for someone that wasn't feeling good, now your paramedic is out, and the next call may be a cardiac.
Yeah,
and
no,
it's a guessing game with EMS. You can never figure it out. There's
a lot of reasons it's,
right.
it would be nice in a sense, but,
Because the majority of your calls can be handled, I would say 60% can be handled by BLS.
really, the county or the cities, nobody should have to put any money into it at all. It should all be just like any other business, or if you need the service, you have to pay for it. And,
Yeah.
but unfortunately, Medicaid and Medicare, where most of the calls come from, don't pay anywhere near what it
No.
costs.
Just in doing the numbers, The second that wheel of the ambulance goes outside the ambulance garage door, if it's a Medicaid call, we're losing money. It just has to roll out the door, we lose money. On Medicare, we pretty much recoup our costs. If you were to hire a full-time service, such as the staff of what Forest City has, plus, and you take into effect what they get for income off those calls, you would still have about a $2 million budget. It's the only way rural America can handle ambulance service is through majority of volunteers, paid volunteers. That's the only way we can handle it, because otherwise the taxpayers wouldn't be able to handle it.
So isn't the question then, lack of a better word, how fancy do we want to get? Or how, the extent of coverage we want to get? And then willing to pay for it.
The extended coverage is again, everything is trial and error to see how it works out. But the main thing is you staff an ambulance, BLS, and then have basic life support versus ALS, advanced life support. Paramedics, advanced life support, we've got the option for 40-some drugs and the higher level of care. But again, the majority of calls nowadays are getting to be BLS. So where I found I was utilizing more of my staff going out on non-essential calls, and then all of a sudden an essential call comes up and we don't have anybody around. And without adding people to the payroll, that was one other thing we added in the last 20 years. We went from 3 full-times to 4 full-times. So that also increased the budget.
So can you, you can't refuse a call, right?
I wouldn't say that.
I'll give you an example. When I was on with the Lake Mills ambulance, we called a lady from the nursing home 3 times in my week.
Mm-hmm.
And all 3 times was not necessary, all 3 of them.
It's another issue that we deal with because it comes down to moral responsibility and liability. So on that third transport, what if she was having a cardiac event? It comes down to that gut feeling. So a lot of times what we do is have people sign waiver because Medicare, Medicaid, and private insurance are getting to the point where they're denying claims. And so if, grandma down the street calls in and said, I got a headache, I want to go in, Medicare may disqualify that claim because it's non-essential, non-emergency. So then she signs off a form that she has to pay the full bill. And if she can't pay the full bill, then what? You're back to writing it off. And if they're on a government assistance, they probably don't have the cash equivalent to pay those full calls. So it comes back down to a moral issue. Do we transport? Do we not? The only time that we have not transported in Forest City is during snowstorms. We won't put our crews in jeopardy unless it's extreme critical nature. We will go out, monitor the call. If they're stable and able to stay at home, then we leave them till we can at least see down the road. Because it doesn't do us any good to be sitting in a ditch with a critical patient or non-critical patient.
But don't we have to decide to, I'm a perfect example. When I pulled my stupidity here, yeah, it was nice getting the paramedics here because they gave me painkillers. But it wasn't necessary. I mean, it wasn't truly necessary. I mean, I could have sucked it up for 35 minutes,
Well, right now, everything in society is you want your patient pain-free. So if you've got the paramedic available to give you pain meds, that's our ultimate choice.
Sure.
So if we don't have one available, then what they would have done is they would have transported BLS, and halfway down the road, you're going, this pain is too severe, then call for a paramedic. And if it was outside of town, we would have got Clear Lake. But Clear Lake doesn't have enough medics, neither does Mason City to cover us. So
they're legislating us into a corner of rural America can't afford to take care of itself.
right. And
I haven't talked to one person that said they'd rather lay on the floor for 40 minutes waiting for paramedic to show up so the ambulance can transport, that would rather not be loaded up right away by three, first responders to be on their way to the hospital.
And that's where you have your EMTs, you know, that load you up, go right away, meet a medic en route.
But unless you have the
It's-
EMT, you can't do it, and that's where we're having the troubles.
But it's easier to hire
EMT is a big
EMTs.
responsibility as a volunteer.
Yep.
I mean, it's a tough class, a lot of people can't pass it.
I agree, and it's something that's needed, but a 3-month class versus a 2-year class, you can get them in and do the basics and get them en route. Because right now, it's easier to get EMTs than it is paramedics. Still hard for getting EMTs, but it's a lot easier to get EMTs. So, and it's all what you want to do. If you want, you know, boredom is the #1 killer of employees. People think you can sit and watch TV on your down days. That is the #1 killer of employees, is boredom. So if you don't keep them active, going on calls, if there's not a call volume, they aren't going to stick around.
Okay, well, we better, we're supposed to have them in here. They're all out there chomping at the bit.
Thanks for your time, and yeah, any consideration be, you need anything else answered, just give me a holler and I'll
It's a
come on
worthy
in.
conversation.
Yes.
Perfect. Thanks, everyone.
Yep.
If you're done talking drainage, I'm gonna leave.
Well, you know, there's many times we revisit it.
Well, we might be talking drainage off the roof here, so.
Yeah. Thank you. Okay. I guess it'll be 10 o'clock. Kevin Williams, Maintenance, and Rick Codwell, Jail Administrator, to discuss possible action, Public Safety Center building issues.
I think I mentioned that Midwest Construction was going to be back last week and take care of the last issues. They were back, but no issues were taken care of. They didn't bring appropriate size valves and the doors. Well, I brought some magnetic switches, but they said, well, we're going to charge you for them. So long story short, we're back to where we've been since day one. We've got a door system, locking system in back that goes in and out of alarms. I don't know if you've got, did you give
I
it?
did, yep.
You've got that, Rick put that list together. Has never worked properly, still doesn't. And then.
From day one.
From day one.
And
Contrary
their
to what-
reason for having to charge us for fixing something that hasn't worked from day one is they just because they can?
That's a question for you guys. I'm to the point here, these guys need a system, particularly in the holding cell, where they can turn the water off. Like you said, if someone's gonna have a problem, it's gonna be in there. I guess my first point is I'd like to go ahead to, I've been told this valve costs anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000, depending on which vendor I'm talking to at the particular time. So I don't know. I want to check it out. If it's down in that $3,000 to $4,000 range, I want to see what's going to cost to get it installed. There's one valve in,
And this
one
is valve for
valve,
what?
excuse me,
Valve for what?
this
Shut the water off?
to turn the water off to all the fixtures in the cell.
This is an electronic valve.
Yeah.
Yes, to
You
push
go
the
back to
button.
Computer.
They came and they ordered the wrong solenoids to begin with. Okay, I don't know. A year later, they came back in with the right ones. They replaced the 2-inch, I think it is, solenoids, but the ones up front are like 4-inch, and they're more expensive. And apparently, they don't want to pay for those more expensive ones.
I can't believe it. With today's technology that it costs that much for an electronic valve.
I do not know. I haven't even started to check it out because
So the remaining valves that need to be replaced, what they do?
There's 2 of them. They're the bigger ones. They sit up front where the holding cells are. Those are the cells when the people first come in. With those solenoids in there, if they ever get those in there, if somebody shoves their clothing down the toilet, which is kind of a common occurrence up there, if it works, you can just push a button and turn off all the water. as it is right now, you have to go into a closet area that's really thin and go back and I could not get in there quickly. I probably couldn't get in there at all, but the smaller people can, and then they have to shut off the valve.
How did that pass our architect? You can't get in.
Well, again, the original plumber ordered the wrong ones.
No, the size of the roof.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it was supposed to be an electronic, we didn't have to get it.
I think a lot of the issue came about because of the addition. A lot of those things were condensed down when we went from a 24 bed to a 40 bed to bring in Hancock County. I think a lot of those types of closets and storage spaces were condensed down, so they are not easily accessible by a normal sized person right
And
now.
that's the water utility room?
That's what?
The water utility room?
These valves are throughout the building, so there's not really one utility room that has the valves. The ones we're talking about right now are up front in the holding cell, so there's a closet there, a very small closet. We do use it for some storage, and then even smaller is a hallway. I don't even know if you call it a hallway, and you got to go down back there to shut off the water. And then it doesn't necessarily always shut off both, if I understand right, because you've got the hot water and the cold water, and they meet it where the solenoid's supposed to be. And so I think in some cases you have to shut off both two different, valves to get both the hot water and the cold water. The main problem will be in that area is, again, that's where most of the people that come in are violent or, aggressive people at that point, and they tend to want to cause issues, and they seem to have a habit of putting their clothes down the toilet and try to flood the place is what they're doing. And it's not a quick fix to try to get in there to shut off all that water. And then on the doors,
I can't remember, do you have to access that valve from inside the cell? Or is that
the water, the manual one, you don't. Neither one, yeah.
So you don't have to go in the cell?
You do not have to go into the
Not on that one, you do in male gen.
Yeah,
Okay,
there are
it
some.
seems like I remember seeing one that was in the corner of the cell.
Right.
Yep.
At this point, all the other cells do have, it's just the ones up front that do not have the push button capability at this point. And then on the doors, they haven't worked since the beginning. They've come in, they've fixed a few of them, they've never really walked out of there with all the doors fixed. And then the ones that they do fix, they go into various alarms very quickly after they've fixed them. I think they're old alarms. I was told by one of the guys that came the first time that, I don't know, not old in the sense that they were old, they were just, they've changed to a newer type of.
Obsolete.
They're obsolete.
There you go, yeah.
They went to a better adjustment system, so you're not fighting it constantly going into and out of alarm. Trying to get at one point they're gonna try and find some replacements. Well, you might have a problem even ordering them new now.
And just to kind of tell you where the seriousness of that comes, they look at a board, the controllers look at a board and they see red. Okay, that means that door is supposed to be open or the alarm's off, whatever indicator it has. And so they don't really know if that, from back there, if that door's open or closed or whatever. And so it becomes a security issue to a great degree. This has been going on for so long that most of the gals back there that are working that know which ones they have problems with and stuff.
Not to refresh my memory, I thought we had everything covered by camera. As far as to know whether that door is open or not.
Okay, the door can be shut and the switch can be still open. Doesn't mean the door is open. So you can look at a door, it could be shut.
Okay, it's not latched.
It's not latched.
Okay.
Right. And to tell you the truth, we haven't had any problems with them being unlatched. It's just that it shows that on the board. Even though they're still latched, it will show unlatched on the panel.
So to replace these, is it just the part on the door that you would need to replace, or is there some kind of control?
Yeah, according to Accurate Controls, they're the ones that handle the control center. And they were here last year and checked all their stuff right in the middle of all these problems, and they say it's not with the electronics, it's with the door electronics or the lock electronics, not the control center electronics.
Have you talked with Kelsey? No?
About,
She has sent out a letter, I forget when that was.
About a year ago.
Yeah.
A year ago, we got a bunch of stuff taken care of at that point, but then this kind of just went clunk off the edge of the table.
Well, something hasn't worked from day one, and people would have known about it from day one. I don't know what kind of they wouldn't have a very good standing in court, I wouldn't think, if it came down to that. Trying to get them to fix what should have worked in the first place, at least on day one.
the one time I got, and it was all email, into a nasty little argument with the architect. He said those issues belong to the subcontractor. So in this case, it would be the plumbing company as opposed to the overall contractor. And
Why
yet,
do you say that?
again, that's what the architect said. I have no clue.
The circle of blame on this went, the architect blamed the plumber, who blamed the electrician, who blamed John Hanson. It was just a big circle. This was in relationship to the solenoid valves and those burning out. It was just a big circle. The other one, the doors, that was between the jail hardware people and the accurate control software people, if my understanding is correct. It's two different, well, it's not ours, it's over there. Well, it's not ours, it's over there.
Well, I don't care who's it at. When we hired John Hanson, that's what we hired him for. I
don't know what to tell you. When they came the other day and didn't have anything to do anything, to me, I shifted my brain to, okay, what can we do to get the water to turn off in the holding cell? All the rest of it kind of went over there. That's on you guys too. I don't know what to tell you to do there. But I would like to get that holding cell. The work release cell is not as big a deal. And if that valve is $3,000 or $4,000 and the install is whatever that is, we can get that holding cell up and going on this year's budget. I mean, I've got money in there. We might be a little tight at the end of the year, but fingers crossed, nothing else breaks. We can always get it going.
we're not paying for it.
But that's my point, that if I bring a claim in here for $5,000, you say, wait a minute, we paid for this. You know what I mean? So I need some direction. What do you want me to do? Do you want me to do that? Do you don't? That's completely up to you
I don't know
guys.
if it's worth having a closed session with Kelsey, but I'm saying that
Well, I can't see no reason why. I know if the situation was turned around and we did something for them and it didn't work from day one, and it's been going on for years now, I'm willing to bet that they would want the same thing that we want now. So, I have a hard time with hypocrites, I guess.
I've told John from day one that we paid for a system and that it should work.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I passed along last week, is Jeremy, he says, well, you got a ball valve in there. I says, that is not what we paid for. The isolation is nice if you're gonna work in there, obviously, because you can mechanically turn it off. But that is not how the system is supposed to work.
with Kelsey.
Well, at one time we talked about the ball valve and the electronic valve, and they were gonna have to give us a bunch of money back if we went with the ball valve. And they said, no, we can get it fixed this way. And they just keep passing the blame all the way around.
Well, what's even more frustrating is I would talk to John and say, this is what we need, and he would say, Dave said this. And then I would talk to Dave, and he would be telling Dave a fib about he was like we didn't talk.
That's why
So-
we just take the bull by the horns and go after him. That's my opinion.
No?
I'm just wondering, is it to get the process going, to go ahead and get it fixed and bill them for it? Because they've been notified how many times?
Well, that's probably the quickest way to get it fixed, and you get it fixed, and then you have to go with them, go after them afterwards to get someone to take responsibility and stand up and pay for it, and then that'll take time and litigation.
That might be something you want to check with the county attorney
Yeah.
about, yeah.
What, I know it's a pain, but, operational wise, is this something you can put up with another couple months?
Oh, we've put up with it now for 2.5 years, so,
2.5 years, yeah, we can wait 2 months.
yeah.
I say we get Kelsey and meet with her and see what we can do legally and again, and squash it.
The other thing that has occurred, and it's just a byproduct, is when they do that, we've had an issue where the city blames the jail because some of that clothing went out into the sewer and backed up some houses, from what I understand. So, I mean, it's a lot quicker, particularly when you've got one jailer on at a time who's trying to deal with 20 people. And we have no controllers at night. The comm board handles that. To look at those cameras 24 hours every single minute, it's not going to happen. And it's a lot easier to push a button and you're done rather than go into a storage, move all the storage out, and try to get down that little hallway and turn off the valve. So
Well, that John should be confronted on that too.
we've talked to John quite a few times over the 2.5 years.
What's his attitude?
Not his problem, is the way, I guess
That is exactly
that's
what
the way I could describe it.
like I said, it's a big circle.
What I mean by attitude is it defiant? Is it, I'll try to work with you,
What I've gotten from John is, you've got to take ownership of this building. My brain says, I'm not taking ownership of your problems.
So, yeah, we're taking ownership of shoddy workmanship.
Systems that do not work.
From day one, so it's,
well, I say we meet with Kelsey. Is that next month?
So I'll hold off on that valve for a couple months and let you do your thing, and then you'll let me know.
And maybe it'll be sooner too.
All right,
Thank you.
Thank you.
all right.
Thanks, guys.
Sorry for making you guys wait.
Unless you know how to fix it, what we gonna do, right?
Oh, okay.
All right.
He doesn't want to be in the picture.
All right, consider for approval of payroll claims. Oh, okay.
Did you have anything you wanted to address, Mark?
Oh,
okay.
okay.
All right.
just happened to be in here, so I thought.
Sit there and enjoy it all. Oh, what did you think of the drainage? It was a little sharp today.
It's a little short, I expect a little more.
It was a poor meeting to pick for being on the edge of your seat.
The count your lucky stars and it was short.
Tell your brother I haven't forgotten about it, but I will be out there. I actually bought a drone, so I'm gonna test it out there.
All right, I'll let him know that. I do have a question that you may be able to answer. Who do I talk to here on the county paying for veterans' graves? I'm the new treasurer on our church cemetery.
You can talk to Chris in my office, right across the hall.
Okay.
Go grab my budget stuff.
For the purposes of our federal sign-in sheet, almost anybody that's going to address us has to sign in.
Oh,
She's the only one that gets filled out.
nobody here.
Yeah. So I almost need a,
Yeah,
almost need a thing sitting here where they just walk up.
What we need to do is point the camera out at them, and then it'll be all registered that way.
Through facial recognition.
What?
We had that. Repairs, their name, because the people look up John Hanson. Hit our webpage. Sweetheart, thank you.
I was telling Bill that anybody that comes to address us, at a minimum needs to sign in.
Yeah.
None of those people signed in.
I was saying we need some kind of a podium for it to sit on so that it's more
Visible?
visible or back in the
Sit
corner.
right there as you come in the doors.
You have to
Once you
walk
sign
around.
in, you sign in.
Yeah.
Maybe I could put a little, like a
Like,
nail and hang it up and say, sign in.
I have
Put
a,
sign above
I
it.
have a podium in my garage.
Well, I'll just
Sit
put
right
a,
there by where that chair is there, and
If you put it right like outside the door, you
Yeah.
must sign in before entering.
Yeah.
yeah, I could just hang it up on the door. I'll see if I can get Kevin to give me a nail.
My son and his friends thought they were funny in, Congo Church in town, put a whole bunch of stuff out that they wanted to get rid of, and they all loaded it up in their trucks. So now I have a couple of, I have a podium in my garage. I stand there a lot, pontificate.
just worried that if they do some type of an audit and they address people and they're not on that list.
Mhm.
Do we have a figure as to how much these repairs are gonna be in total to the jail?
Well, it sounds like that one valve could be anywhere from
3 to 10.
3 to 10. And,
Was there 2 valves, one for the hot, one for the cold?
and it
Well,
sounds like,
it's one solenoid valve, but there's one for the work release and one for the holding cell.
Okay.
So there's 2 left that are still not working.
plus whatever labor it would take to install them, which I'm sure would be time to get here.
Yeah. Yeah. They
Well,
should be doing
yeah,
that.
well,
what
yeah,
ticks me off more than anything else is for John to let that closet slide. If it's not functional, I mean, I guess it is functional, but.
well, it would.
Well, we weren't even supposed to have to use it, that's the
It would
problem.
be just fine if the valve worked, the electronic valve worked, nobody'd have to go in there. But I wonder how they get in there to replace it then if it's that tight in there.
I think it's at the front, whereas the valve is way in the back.
Oh,
I was thinking, aren't they quick disconnects? You have your union valves, or union connectors. If I remember right.
So you don't have like a handle like that and it shuts it off.
Well, there's a ball valve
There's a bulb, okay.
instead of it, so you can put it beyond the ball valve. If it fails again, you got backup.
Right.
That'd be my way of fixing it.
be the fastest.
Then you can just shut it off and work on it. Turn it back on. Fail, still do it manually.
But you guys agree that John Hanson's the ultimate responsibility for this whole thing?
Well, he was
General
supposed to be
always is. You bet.
I think there are more responsibility, but, you know, the onus is on him.
He's the one that should get them to take care of their shoddy. Or, you know, not necessarily shoddy, it's just to just cut the work.
Consider that shoddy.
Well, it might be, I mean, it can be what they use too. I mean, there could be, you know,
The
problems.
original problem was AC versus DC valves.
You didn't even get either one. You got a ball valve.
No, that was the second part. We had what was it, AC valves in a DC system,
Yeah.
and it blew out.
He was wrong from the beginning.
Yeah,
He put the wrong part in.
Well, that's a big mistake too.
they make both, but
Yeah, but you better know which one you're dealing with.
maybe they put it.
I'd be a little worried.
I know which one I'm a little more scared of. I guess you could probably get enough DC. You get enough amps or volts or something.
You guys remember we have our 11:30 meeting too, right?
Yeah.
Now, when you're ready, I'll make the motion for the
Let her know.
payroll funds.
Now, second,
The motion dirt and crowd or you can tell her later.
We'll tell them.
Motion from Derby and second from Sandra to approve the payroll claims. All in favor, say aye.
The guy that was here, who is he? Was he the jail administrator?
That was for Caldwell, the retiring one.
Herbie Caldwell right here.
Rick Caldwell was there. Over here is the new jail administrator that was sitting in front of,
Steve Lewis.
Steve Lillquist.
Lillquist, okay.
you know Tom Kingston?
The only one I know is
Well, you know, the Corps, don't you? Some of the Corps. Tom Kingston's married to the Corps.
Mark's married to a,
Knudsen.
You make a motion on payroll?
Yep, Derby and Sandra and seconded.
Okay.
It was touch and go, but we all voted aye.
Good. Good, good. So, basically, ran up the stairs.
We didn't, I made it just thinking about it.
I've got the budget basically done,
Uh-huh.
unless we want to add something for a paramedic.
I guess I have concern that we're only 25% of their budget usage. I don't know if I want to be paying 1/3 of their budget. I think the pressure should be put on Hancock County to put in there,
You know, they've tried that before,
and
and
Worth County should.
they've tried that before, and I know they've met with resistance.
Well, maybe we should go at it as in, we're gonna annex in any part that they don't pay for.
I'd be fine with that.
We just annex their part of the county that they aren't paying for. So we get Winnebago, we get all those tiers of townships down there, they're all Winnebago County now. How's that? We had this discussion one other time when we were splitting up the, shared, emergency management person. I think what they say, when he went to them, they said, well, the hospital should be paying for that.
Well,
I don't think,
Those hospital taxes, because they have a hospital,
Levy.
yep, and they want that to come out of that, not their general.
just like I say from personal experience, yes, it was a great comfort to have it, but it wasn't necessary.
yeah, in a lot of cases it is, I guess, so it's,
Yeah.
yeah, but see, the trouble is that you can't transport unless you have an EMT. Well, we're having trouble is we don't have enough EMTs. I was talking to somebody in Cassuth County, they had 11 people take the EMT class and none of them passed it.
Where was that?
Cassuth.
Well, I got spoiled when I first got on the ambulance. I was with Winnebago, and his attitude was get him in the ambulance and get him in the base.
Well, you see, and that's my attitude. I'd rather go with a bunch of first responders and so have the dozens of people that I talk to. They'd rather be on their way to the hospital instead of laying there waiting for somebody that's qualified so you can transport. See, they've made a law by large, insurance companies have made a law where you can't.
Case in point is Roy Steeney, and if it doesn't apply here, it's, he's even more important, but we locked and loaded him, we loaded and locked him, and a minute and a half after we got him there, he coded. And if we had screwed around,
Waited.
and I know that's not every case, but
So, but if we do give money towards this next year, we're gonna have to make some levy changes.
Well, depends on how much.
There's a little room, I'm sure, but not much.
5,000 is the max.
I would, so, let's see, where did, so the ambulance comes out of general basic. I added a tiny bit to the general basic to get a little bit better fund balance. I mean, it all depends on where you want your fund balance, where you want your levy to be at, and if you want to change anything, you want to. I mean, our general basic levy is still,
Almost half of what it should be.
yeah, the ending balance. The percentage of dollars went up by 0.96 for general.
And all this money's gonna do is to help them maintain what they have in their budget.
Yeah.
Not really much for expansion.
Well, I guess it hasn't increased in a lot of years.
Yeah.
I don't know why all the things that go for years and years and years have to end up increasing.
It just still upsets me that we're paying for 2 other counties that aren't paying.
Yeah, and they should be more than happy. I would be. I mean, if it was Winnebago and we had, I would look at it and say, well, that's not fair. Even I don't want to spend the money, it's still not fair. So you've got to do what's right. And I would think that.
well, I think we better explore then. He said that we could refuse calls. If that is the case, let's inform Worth County and Cassuth that we will not be taking any calls from their counties if they don't want to put in.
But that's their decision,
Yeah.
paramedic service. We only fund a part of their budget.
Yeah, I know it, but here again, I guess you could go quid pro quo. That's, we could tell the ambulance service, you want some money, this is what you need to do. And I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I really
Because
don't.
their taxpayers are using the service, so I can't understand why. if you could prove to them and give them a number that's fairly good. Yeah, as far as, you know, their percentage of the, you know, and it's not a huge percentage, so it's not gonna be a big budget item for them either, so. No, it's,
So you would say, Mike, that if a tornado, flood, massive fire, earthquake, cattle stampede goes through Worth County, injuring dozens of people, Winnebago would not respond?
That would be mutual aid, because they're supposed to be.
yes.
See, I don't understand in Worth County, they're being covered by, Mason City Fire.
We're done here, I have another.
Why aren't they covering the whole county?
That's my curiosity.
Come watch.
And why doesn't Britt cover all their county?
Well, that doesn't work.
Those decisions are gonna have to be made, and they're tough decisions, but I'd say no. You know, if you're not willing to participate,
Right,
it's like anything, if you're not willing to participate in things, you shouldn't get the benefits of it.
I think it was just recently, he might have gone to the, Hancock County supervisors, and they said he needs to get out of the hospital. I don't know if he's talked to them. Has he, or?
I believe he has. I'd have to check with Angela, but I believe he has talked with them. I don't know exactly what the results are. I'd have to talk to Angela again, because she covers Hancock County. But yeah, I find it unusual that Winnebago tax dollars are going. Even though the city of Forest City does contribute, and technically they're taking care of Forest City and Hancock County,
yes.
but
it would be nice, and, you know, I can understand why they want to go through the hospital too. But,
And I can guarantee you, AJ, that if that scenario came down, our ambulances would be over there.
I was gonna say, I mean,
yeah,
worst case scenario.
Anytime there's an emergency, you know, I mean, there's neighboring fire departments are helping each other all the time, and then there's no, you know, it's just, and some fire departments probably get ahead of the other ones, you know, because they use the other ones more than, you know, use them. So nothing there was completely fair, but,
Well, just so that we were clear.
Oh, yeah.
Well, gentlemen, I would love to stay, but I've already been thoroughly enthralled with the drainage, and I don't think I could take much more excitement with the budget, so.
we'll pick you up about 8 in the morning then,
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be wonderful.
tomorrow morning.
Appreciate it,
Yeah.
yes.
CSS with me.
Sure, why not?
Okay. Maybe you'd be
Yeah, I'd still love to talk to you about it. What's going on there?
stressful. There.
Last one,
My kids want to.
I've always had it. Can I tell you what Portuguese water dogs are going for? I've had 2 of them,
Yeah.
but that's back when they were $1,000 a piece. They're now going for 35 or 4,000.
Really? I'll guarantee you. Well, we'd have it on the right.
And they were buying anything for 300.
I told them I'm not the one to sell them.
Take care.
Hey, have a good day.
You too. So do we want to do something on the paramedic service?
I think since the budget is so crunched right now, they can go one more year without it. It's my opinion, but like I say, I mean, really, these two guys should be the majority.
Let's see.
Decide yours.
We used
Well, I
to,
guess you are.
we used to,
Anyway.
we used to be 1/3 of their budget,
Yeah.
and now we're, what did he say the budget was?
I think, yeah.
18%. So we would have to,
Add 60,000, you said, to bring it up to 1/3.
that's a big number.
We don't have room for that this year.
No. I mean, I have appreciation for what they're doing. I think we should keep up, but
Like I said, it was,
it's a tough year to do it.
it was wonderful to have them.
What could we do to say we should, step it up over a period of years?
Yeah.
What could we,
But there's also this discussion of countywide EMS. Is there things like that, maybe we should help fund EMT over in Buffalo Center to help take the pressure off the paramedic?
that's,
And then that could cover some of that end of the county.
that is being discussed right now as far as, the meetings are having and stuff.
I think that's a good first step. I like that.
Countywide, in my opinion, it would go a long way if we centralized the paramedics. And I think it could be done relatively cheap. I mean, there's buildings in Thompson that I think could be used. And,
Yeah, the city's using the old ambulance shed.
But, their trips back to Fort City would be much more frequent than their trips to Buffalo Center, so it's,
Yeah, if you look at
it would be nice if somehow we could have one in each ambulance service area.
satellite service.
Yeah,
That's where I think the EMT, if you had one in full-time, one in, during the business hours in Lake Mills and one in Buffalo Center,
yeah.
to help cover some of that lack of volunteers.
Well, and like I said, in order to get people to go through that, to become a volunteer for that, to pass that class, the least we should be doing is paying those people $20, $30 an hour while they're on a call. They can volunteer all their class time, volunteer all their meeting time, all that, but when it actually comes to the calls, they should be getting paid. I mean, if you hire a professional ambulance service, I bet their net cost to their employees is $40 an hour at least.
I don't know if there's some other, and this is some discussion to have at the county EMS meeting, but is there something, like he said, Fort is the worst thing you can have, somebody just sitting around waiting for a call. If you have somebody sitting in Buffalo Center and you only have a call every other day.
Well, what you need is to have a EMT that works at a place like Miller today.
Right.
Where each
They have on-call pay, and then.
there are some businesses in Buffalo Center that do that, but,
we're allowed to,
then we don't have to have
do
benefits
that
for a
job
40-hour paycheck.
they could do a data entry and they're supplementing their income.
yeah.
Well, that's one thing we talked about at the EMT meeting, is, talking to the employers about,
So I don't want to put all our eggs in one basket right away. I'd rather explore those other things.
They're entertaining, but EMT in Buffalo Center full-time during the workday. And you'd have to have a couple of them in a sense in order to staff it 7 days a week.
Well, he was talking about the worst need is like the 8 to 5, 5 days a week, and everybody's working.
Yeah, but even that, you got 7 days a week. Who wants to work 7 days every week? So.
That's
But you got volunteers available on the weekend.
I'm not sure if the Lake Mills ambulance still does it, but when I was on it for that 9 years, we had a whole week at once, 24 hours too. It was not morning, not just days or nights, it was, we were full time, the 24 hours a day for 7 days straight.
Yeah. Which,
And I didn't mind that.
Which it averages out, a lot of the days they're sitting there having to work, but that's where, I know the school, and I believe the nursing home, they let their employees go on calls, and I believe the city does too. I don't know if any of the people on the city are on the ambulance, but I don't want them, might be driving for sure. No, you might be on it. But, and they get paid by their workplace while they're on the call too. And,
Well, I guess at this point, I'd be interested in adding to their budget $5,000 this year
If we could incrementally do it
and entertain other ideas along with
as it goes.
a future possible increase there.
I did tell Dale when I put him on the agenda that I did have the budget done and that he might not get anything this year. So, I mean, he does know that there's a possibility that he wouldn't get anything.
Yeah.
Certainly, for 5,000.
Like I said, it all depends on where you want your ending balance to be.
In the big scheme of things, 5,000 isn't too much.
On 700,000.
How many times have we said that though? 5,000 isn't in the scheme of things, 5,000.
It adds up when you say it 100 times.
But I'm guessing the people, I can sell it on the people of the county.
I don't think there's anybody that doesn't want to be able to be transported when they need it, you know, or their family members.
In lieu of a extra $5,000 in the general basic balance.
Yeah.
So, so that would be on their line item of 70,000, we changed to 75.
Mm-hmm. It's on page 74 on the white sheet.
Would that be a increase considered the same as like, IT services? We don't have to make a special, motion to approve that 5,000.
We're just approving the whole budget, is what we're doing. We're making adjustments now, and then, just like everything else, the amount for the librarians and all that, it's all within the one budget, or one motion. So we're all in agreement on that one then?
Sure, whatever you guys decide.
What about, Rice Lake? Does that affect our ending balance going into this budget year?
If it was to go back to being the farm ground or whatever, the tax valuation loss out there on the housing and the rest of the property out there would be a heck of a lot more than what we would ever forgive for them.
Well, if we give them a rebate on, say, 40% of their taxes, that would be $7,200 that we would get back. That's $7,200, that's not going into our budget.
They knew that was coming.
We'd have to deduct it from our revenue side.
Right, for this year.
Yeah.
I don't think you have to.
Is that, where do their taxes go into?
Let me try to pull up the software where I can get that. Yeah, I'll read it. Can you call Julie and ask her for the tax statements? That'll help.
See the classified commercial rate, yeah.
156. That's good for what?
Rice Lake's tax statements.
Usually on that, Julie, 80 on the east side of the road.
This is Julie.
Yeah, Julie, this is the supervisors. Could you bring the tax statement down for Rice Lake?
I would doubt it.
The what?
More
For Rice Lake Country Club?
Yeah, what was it?
All the tax statements.
All the tax statements?
For Rice Lake
Yeah.
Country Club.
Yep.
If that's the name is under.
Golf, it's under Rice Lake,
Golf course.
Outing Club, I don't know. I think the corporate name is like
It's
Rice Lake
different
Outing.
Country Club, huh?
That was an outing.
I'll look here and see what I can find. I'll be down.
All right, thank you.
It's 10 year, my fingerprint just doesn't work.
It's Rice Lake Golf and Country Club.
Should I call her back and tell her that, or did she?
I would think that she could figure it
I
out.
would think so. So you get there, you start with her, it can't be that many things to start with rice and five.
There's a few, but not that many. My software just doesn't work on this laptop very well, so I'll pull it up.
You know, I mean, some of the housing, I hold some of its value just because of the lake out there yet. If country clubs went out, I bet it would lose 25% of the value out there. Yeah.
And it'd be a burden on our budget if we ended up owning it,
No, yeah.
trying to lease it out,
We've already got one that's struggling.
but that hasn't been a burden on our budget yet, right? We just own the property, they lease it for what, $1 a year or something?
They're managing to get.
Or $1 for 99 years?
I don't know. I don't see much.
Well, the property was given to the county,
Yeah.
for the enjoyment of the people, but they,
Who pays the taxes or the levies on the drainage out
They're,
they do.
there?
yeah,
Because I know they, like to get it done as cheaply as possible. They call it, British recreation area, is that what it's like? Yeah. Used to go over there and eat a lot. Well, it's been under new management again.
Still Mark Fiona.
And,
Yeah,
one of my,
didn't think he would sell.
one of my classmates from Ray, Joyce Woodruff was her maiden name. She's Joyce Griffin now, Eddie Griffin, you know, him, Eddie Griffin's son. They're gonna take it on, and she's had a restaurant in Ray, and she was the head cook at the grocery store restaurant uptown here now. She's always been, and she makes good food too. Food.
What's that?
Norwegian, you know what food is?
Is that the dumplings?
Yeah, it's good potato. It's cooked in ham sauce.
We call it something else.
Well, some people call it kubla.
Yeah, that's what we call it.
And I don't know how they ever throw a whole bunch of butter on it, salt, pepper, coffee.
Careful what you say on YouTube here. No offense.
You already think so? Oh, golly, I suppose.
How about Rumagrout?
Rule of grout, I'm not that good at Norwegian. Is that a Norwegian thing?
I've had it.
I can't stand it, it's too rich for me.
What is
All
it?
it is cream and flour and sugar.
Cream, flour, and sugar.
It's
It's like
almost
a soup, isn't it?
real thick soup.
Oh, really?
And
My wife likes it.
Oh, I've never had that.
oh, I tell you, the Kingdom's different.
Probably heard.
I just printed off Rice Lake Golf and Country Club.
Yeah.
So there's,
She figured out right after we hung out with you, she figured out what it was actually called.
Okay.
That was it.
because there's those, and then we have Rice Lake chapter of the Isaac.
No.
And we got Water Inc., Rice Lake Water Inc.
That's the water district. No,
Okay.
that's the homeowners that are all part of that. The well system.
Okay?
Thanks.
Yep. And then, have you guys went through the discussion of the county policy book? Updating that?
Well, we're gonna make a committee,
Okay.
but,
Did you guys talk more about the snow days or the
We didn't,
bad
yeah,
weather?
we're gonna,
Put that
Mike
out?
Galloway's gonna go through the whole book, look for any things we need to change, and then we're gonna discuss the policy.
Okay, yeah, because it's pretty much the same as what's in the policy book now, taking vacation or,
yeah, there's not much that's gonna change.
yeah. That's what I told the gals. So. All right, thank you.
Thank you. Where's the big one?
Did the courthouse stay open on the front? That wasn't horrible.
You can get to it easy enough. Somebody might have wanted to as long as you were heading home.
We had a lot of people leave early, like the whole, Julie shut public health down too. And so those people just have to take vacation comp and, but there's quite a few of us here.
I was still driving all day. I thought visibility was okay. There wasn't much drifting.
I wouldn't have been out there after dark.
Yeah,
Well, you know what, I was out there that evening, the evening wasn't that bad.
I guess if we're gonna do something for them.
Yeah, this is Mike Stensrud. Can you give me a call back at 641-590-3055? Thanks.
I would only want to do it for this year, for now, as a rebate type of thing.
Yeah.
And then see what the board review does with it. Then we'll possibly look at it.
Yeah, and that's maybe the way it should be handled every year. I don't know, you know, because who knows, you know.
Well,
three
there's
years
a
from
couple
now,
ways
you
to do
back
the
up to a waiting
rebate.
list.
If you're doing economic development, you can set it up on a 5-year rebate. That's basically what Golden Oval was. We rebated them. They paid the taxes, we rebated them, right?
Yeah, but that's through a TIF.
Right. So,
So the county's portion,
can we do this through our TIF? If we expand it to the whole county, is there a way to do that?
that would be a question for Bob
It's
Johnson.
economic development,
That would be a question for Bob.
retention of
The
jobs.
problem is though, is there's no increment value. And if they lower
Yeah,
the value, then there won't be any value at all for TIF. So TIF won't work.
okay.
I'll guarantee you that there's not one taxpayer in the county that if we proposed, and I'm not saying this is what we should do, but let's just say we'll rebate you $9,000 and you're keeping $9,000. Or the possibility that we won't get any, there's not one taxpayer that probably won't get that.
Down the road, there's a possibility we might have, is it just solar that's gonna go in Bristol Township there?
Yeah.
It's gonna,
Northeast.
gonna come into Winnebago
Norfolk.
County a little bit,
Yeah.
so in the future, there might be.
So the taxes that go to the county are $8,702.33.
82, what?
$88,702.33.
They need to merge the school districts too. Yeah.
Largest amount goes to this, goes to us and then the school.
Yeah.
So, if they were using case scenario of Northwood, and their valuation was 7,200, or their taxes were 7,200 instead, I'm trying to think. Ballpark figure. About 40.
The big parcel, the county portion is 8,563. I would hate to, I don't know. I think the little parcels are about $46 a piece. I'd hate to mess with any of that.
They ended up
So 85 something, you said?
Yep, $85,063.41.
8,500 or?
8,563.
Okay, do we feel that the assessment is out of whack?
I think there is some validity to that claim. I'm looking at, I think the club out here at Forest City, and I don't know, that was never used by anybody that I know.
Well,
sold for $350,000 to the city of Fort City.
The clubhouse,
The golf
The whole
course.
everything, oh.
We've got it assessed at $839,000.
The reason that is,
But we have a nice.
over other golf courses, is because it's by lake.
Yeah.
Most of those other golf
But,
courses are
and then
by
they
lake.
have a newer clubhouse up there that Fort City does.
Yeah.
And I think there was, what, 300,000 or 400,000 valuation just in that part of it.
They're 551,000
In buildings total or,
in all the buildings.
yeah, see the,
Rice Lake?
because there's a lot of
You
buildings.
kidding me?
Wow.
You got a lot of storage.
Well, I know that
You got
the values
sheds
are-
and
Yeah.
shops and,
Can't believe the type of land this is.
I was thinking
Is it
that,
130 acres?
Yeah, it's the village.
I think the one thing Sue did, that
134 acres, 135 acres.
probably the thing to do is ask Sue what she did. Because she did, this is the whole thing.
Yeah.
And she did downgrade it for obsolescence because they don't have the clubhouse open year round. So she was able to decrease that part of it. So we gotta look at what it actually is going to be, but they're paying taxes on this year. So, I don't think we need to rebate the whole thing, but I think we could probably give them some relief.
Here's the other thing too, that we might be opening up, you know, there's open other businesses, hey, I'm not making it.
Every farm.
Yeah,
You know,
but when a farmer goes out of business, his land doesn't necessarily devalue.
Everything else around.
no,
This-
it's unique.
This is gonna be a negative drain on our taxes, because if the golf course disappears, we're gonna lose more than what they pay in taxes and what other people's evaluations are. So, it's,
Yeah, it is unique, I guess.
yeah,
I guess in my head, I'm trying to justify a number, how we came up with it, not just an arbitrary number.
Maybe we should take the average of what Al presented us with other golf courses.
What's the overall valuation?
800 and something.
With all 4 parcels or just one?
All of it?
Just the big one.
All.
Well, the other three
I'm
are,
comparing to Fort City.
the
Fort
other,
City paid $350,000 for the whole thing.
the other three parcels where the taxes were only $40. Well, the valuation's still under that, but they're only $40 a piece on the taxes. There's one big one and 3 little ones.
Where are those parcels? Where are those parcels?
They're probably the sheds, the rental sheds.
Uh, 94,000. I missed a number someplace.
It's 800 and something, for sure.
Yeah, you're, well, the top number's got,
I got all sorts, I got it. I'll just use my calculator.
yeah,
God forbid, I don't even know. 8, 3,
you missed a zero. That
I missed something. $849.
850.
Yep, those are.
$10 off is all, 250,000.
And if you add, there's a clubhouse here that it's old, that needs help. I mean, it should be replaced. One up there can last a lot of years.
This golf course here isn't on the tax roll trail, right?
No, it used to be.
It used to be city.
Then they sold it to the city for $350,000. So I'm trying to figure out, if you added a like clubhouse here, you're probably gonna put a value of, 500 to 550, something like that overall, when you include the sale value. So you're looking at 35% reduction in valuation, or 40% reduction in valuation.
They roughly pay 18,000, right? Taxes.
Yeah. So you take out of our 8,500, you take 40% off of that. Because we still have to provide snow removal and road. You know, they have to, I think the deal out there was they improve the road, and any of the road repairs they have to pay for.
Right.
Except for the main road going up to the main road going up is, but the rest of the roads, is their.
No, the one main road that goes through the whole thing is the county's responsibility.
No.
Sure.
The road that goes up to Sherman's.
Yep.
Is the county's. I think everything else that got paved after that, it was assessed on the taxpayers.
Here's the entrance.
I'll zoom in. That's it.
No. It's right here. Just made my eyes water. 40% would be 3,400.
Oh, you don't know here.
Here.
Yeah, this, oh, I don't know when it gets back to here, but this piece is county.
You think that was paid for by the county?
Yep.
Okay, because I know I paid this.
They take care of, snow removal and all that, and they actually told, Dillon that he couldn't put some rock on there, so I mean, they would have to have authority for them to do that. So, I'm pretty sure that's well, Scott could tell us exactly.
Barney?
Howdy, howdy.
Got a question for you.
Hey, out at Rice Lake, where does the county blacktop end? How far into the houses does it go?
Oh, well, the county maintains all the roads throughout Rice Lake.
It does, and we pay to resurface too?
We pay to resurface. Mark, did they do assessments for that? Did they? Rice Lake paving?
Yeah, 'cause we have a
Rice
loan one.
Lake and Eagle Lane out there were paid for a special assessment.
When you say Rice Lake,
Parking lot.
going past Harris Huntsy, is that county maintained or is that from the houses?
Let me pull up a map here. Okay, so there's 235th that kind of goes by the park and goes almost all the way up to the clubhouse. But before you turn into the clubhouse lane, or if you take the clubhouse lane, is not public road, but the Lakeside Drive is you turn right there where the entrance to the clubhouse is. That's public, and then all those roads back in the neighborhoods are all public roads.
So they're under the purview of the county then, right?
Right.
Okay, yep.
What's Harris? You said Harris Huntsy. That's the
He lives right there.
Back, this is Terry, back in the 90s, the property owners, a certain number of the property owners had to pay special assessment to improve to blacktop.
That sounds right.
How many of those roads were done that way?
I think all of them were.
Okay, but now it's the county's responsibility.
Well, there's not saying that you would do assessments to repair them or anything like that, but the county does maintain them and have right of way through there, yeah.
But Lakeside is paid by the county, correct?
Say that again.
Lakeside Drive, that is paid, all repairs and resurfacing, that is paid by the county, right? Just,
When it's natural surface, I would expect you to have that conversation as to how to pay for it.
oh, okay, all right. We're just trying to decide here what to do with the golf course. So,
Yeah.
all right, yep,
Okay.
thanks, yep.
So when the city bought the golf course, was it 350,000 they paid for everything, or what was it, the number?
No, I believe it was 100,000,
Okay,
and that's what they owed,
well, just
The bank.
just a buyout is all.
so it was a buyout, from what I remember. Don't take that for gospel, but I'm pretty sure that's the way it worked.
Somebody had mentioned something about 350,000, I don't know if that's what they valued it at when it got sold. or-
Yeah, that may have been, yeah. But I'm pretty sure it was 100,000. In fact, I think we're making the last payment on it this year, that 10,000 a year. Yep.
And City of Fort City owns that?
So where would you guys, feel if we were to, Rice Lake is struggling and, they're on the tax rolls? You know, do you think that people would be against us, giving them a break on their taxes so they can keep going?
Giving them a rebate.
It's happening all over. I think I read something about Brits the other day too.
Yeah, I heard it.
I mean, it's,
Would you rather get 9,000, instead of the 18,000 we get right now? Or they give it back to the county?
yeah, that's,
Would you rather get 9,000?
I think so.
Yeah.
That would make sense to me, but
Well,
that's just me.
If it reverts back to, you know,
Yeah,
farm ground or whatever, the valuations, all the houses out there are gonna more than eclipse, the devaluations will more than eclipse what we give for break.
yep, that's exactly right.
It's a tough call.
Yeah, it is.
I'm gonna stay out of it, that's my decision.
I think Rochester on the news the other night, I forget how many golf courses they got up there, but 2 or 3 of them are gonna close
No kidding.
in Rochester, yeah.
Is it just golfing on your computer is just more fun or?
Wow. I used to belong out at Rice Lake. You probably did at one time too. And the problem I had was I'm real busy in the spring. I can't take time in the spring to go out and golf. And to get use of a full membership, it's not worth it for me because I can't golf till
I don't golf at all hardly until, July because of softball and baseball and stuff.
Yep.
And, but I still get my,
I think when you are having X amount of dollars that have to go into your budget, you have to pass it on to the few people that are using it.
And I never was
It gets higher and higher.
That's the other thing is,
I was
kids,
gonna have fun though.
people's
yeah.
kids are so much more busy than what
Yeah.
they used to be. You know, like, I would golf, but when my kids were little, I took them to Mason City 3 times a week to do gymnastics. And so,
We used to strap my son, who's big now, we used to strap him in a car seat and put him in the golf cart because he'd take off running towards the geese or something, you know?
Well, face it, a young couple with kids, that's a good chunk of change to, you know.
Yeah.
Yep.
a lot of people can't afford it.
Well, in, the buying power of the middle class since 2008 has gone down by 40%.
Yep. That is a fact, too.
And, it is not, the wages did decrease, but the expenses increased enough that,
How can we have inflation at 2% over there? Not in some years, not even that.
yeah, I don't know how, somebody's cooking numbers or something, I don't know, because they say that it's only been 2% inflation, but yes, it seems like everything costs a lot more every time I wanna buy it.
I was gonna say Social Security was 1.6, is that's what we got. And then by the time they took the Medicaid back on that and everything else, we went in the hole.
Well, I mean, look at your power, I mean, that just a 25% increase.
Yeah.
On the interstate. But the reason inflation stays low is because we have so many of those made in China things now that keep it low. But there are certain things, and you wanna be positioned with those certain things that have been going up much higher than rate of inflation, like college tuition.
Yeah.
College tuition eclipses what's in second place, and that's medical expenses.
Medical.
College tuition has by far gone up. It's like 200% above the rate of inflation or something like that.
Okay, so let's get back to our task here. We're done with the budget, do you think?
Well, I'm gonna add the 5,000 in paramedic. Other than that, what do you,
What about the 5,000 for the heritage?
that's already in there.
It's already in there.
Okay, so then, what did we have on for actions on this? We wouldn't approve any budget until later, right?
Right, well, I mean, basically what I have today
You're ready to go, so we can set a public hearing.
is, yeah, with just that one change, I can,
Go ahead and set, when would we set that?
oh, what's today? 21st, if I got it to the paper tomorrow,
We have to because of the new law.
Aren't you going on
You can
vacation
go
or
over
something,
your
Carl?
limit.
yeah.
So we gotta get that before that.
So we could have it here, the 4th.
Who owns that public hearings?
We have to have an extra one this year, though. So we have to have this one, and then at this public hearing, then we have to set the regular budget hearing. That's the,
So where would we do the
Max
public-
budget thing.
yeah.
Yeah, what a stupid thing.
Yeah, you know, why do they think of these things?
I don't know.
Everybody has to do that?
Yep.
Yep, city's gotta do it, you guys gotta do it, yeah.
Yeah, just the city and counties.
Yeah.
What hasn't been working that they needed to change it?
I don't know.
Well, what they're,
I
whoever,
remember reading something about it, but I can't remember.
the person who passed the legislation said that we weren't giving the public enough notice about tax increases.
Gee, I've
But-
noticed the
Is
room's
this the
been.
one running for Congress against King?
I don't know.
He was the chair of the Ways and Means in the
They all
Senate.
got up after the drainage.
But like you said earlier today, when you have a room full of people for a drainage hearing, and then you come to our budget meeting and everyone leaves,
Yeah.
how can you say that we're not giving them?
Yeah.
Because we said,
We did 3 public hearings last year, and the most people that showed up were the nurses
yeah,
to justify why they needed more money.
Sure.
We had some concerned taxpayers in Thompson. We had one in Forest City, and then, I don't know, nobody really showed up at this one.
We did our max one for next council meeting. And that also is the caucus night. So we've been getting all kinds of nasty
When is
emails and
caucus?
stuff because we scheduled it on that night.
the
fourth?
third, isn't it the third?
Third,
Yeah.
Yeah, you do yours at night, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we, well, would
Well,
this
that
one
way they-
be here?
Yeah, it would be during our regular meeting on the
Okay.
4th.
But the way I understand that thing is that you gotta put the max in that you may do. We're gonna be below that, so you're gonna get people all upset not understanding that portion of it, and the actual taxes may go down with the budget.
I think we're pretty set that where we're at is where we're gonna be at, so.
The
But you
only
still,
variation now is if we get any rollback, backfill.
Mhm.
but I think you still have to budget in this special one, like 2% or something above what you might collect. I could be wrong on that, it's so complicated,
Yeah, they're just made such
crazy.
So,
And that's not right.
That's
The
not,
complication of our taxes.
no,
a.
so we
Well,
want to
it's-
set it for the 4th of February then? Get it
We'll
going?
just make sure let's see,
Count your days again.
so if I get it, I just wanna think about, do I really wanna try to get it to paper tomorrow, or should I wait a week? Because
You only got one change.
I know, but I wanna double check everything.
At the community center.
see how they keep changing them too.
That would be 20 days, so I could even put it in the paper. And then still do the 11th. And then 13. Then the second public hearing could still be the 25th.
Okay.
And I could go on vacation having the budget done. So,
Well, I'll make a motion to set the public hearing for the budget for February 11th at 9 a.m.
Actually requirements by the, but all of that, no problem.
Somebody want to second?
I'll second whatever you.
Okay, on a motion, whatever Terry said, and a second, whatever was said by Mike.
Set the public hearing for the budget.
for February 11th at 9 a.m.
Yeah,
Let me make sure there's nothing wrong.
In our chambers. Because last year we did some out and about,
oh, yeah, that's right, yeah.
and it was a bad snowy night.
Yep.
Yep, that's good.
Poor gal that works with the public health from DHS.
Yeah.
She had to drive all the way down to Ames to do a snowstorm. After we got done at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah. Did she go all the way down?
Yeah.
She didn't stop you almost.
Story City, I think is where she lives.
Yeah. I remember that. I just couldn't remember if
She
she went
was
all the way or
actually-
she was gonna stop. But I think because we saw her once after that. Never mind. All right, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
So, let's go back to the Rice Lake discussion. We got just a few minutes. Do we want to proceed with a number target here?
So just remember, if you want to lower it, that'll lower our beginning balance for,
For which? Did we figure that out?
well, lower our ending balance for the current fiscal year and lower the beginning balance for 2021.
In which?
In, general, no, in, rural basic.
We figured our portion was 8,500 altogether that we easily work with. How much of that do we dare go?
You asked for 40%, and that's $3,425.36.
And that's just if you're looking at valuation discrepancies. That's what that would be a starting point. I would say that would be the minimum amount. But if you're also looking at keeping them viable and around, should you put more into it?
Well, I think we also need to wait and see what the review board does.
Right. But that won't affect this year's.
Right.
That'll affect next
We
year.
can do what we want this year in a sense, and wait, let it fall out. Next year, through the. So now the question is, how much do we get? Part of it, all of it?
Like I said, I think minimum would be that 40%. And we gotta put some stock into, we wanna keep them viable. So I don't know if 5 or 6 would be the range to go.
So the other thing is it a rebate? Is that what you're gonna call it?
Yeah, I think we'll have to come up with the paperwork to create a rebate.
Okay.
I don't know if Melissa can handle that for us in the same way that we've done other economic development.
Ask her.
Melissa?
Me?
If we were to do a rebate to the Rice Lake Country Club, do you have some paperwork that would facilitate that, or?
I can look in the file.
Okay.
I have an abatement form that,
It's not an abatement.
yeah, I was gonna say.
Abatement's when you plan ahead.
Okay. I'll look.
Rebate is what we did at Golden Apple.
Okay, I'll look in that file and see if I can.
Except it's not tip.
Yeah, it's
So-
not tip related, it's just a rebate.
Okay. If you see any sunglasses, let me know. That's what I'm looking for.
What color?
Black. All right, I'll look at it up and get sent out.
So do you want me to put this on the agenda again for next week, or what do you want me to do?
I think so.
Okay.
We'll probably think about it over the week and see what that number's gonna be. We're looking at giving them a rebate out of Rice Lake, just to keep them viable
Yeah,
for now. But then they're gonna be coming to your review board just to see if there's anything that can be done there.
the board of review.
Yeah,
I'm guessing there won't be anything done on that, but,
okay.
I mean, per law on how things are supposed to be assessed, it's kind of out of their hands if, it's hardship. Because, I mean, to simplify things, I mean, say for instance, someone came to me and said they lost their job.
Yeah.
Am I supposed to reduce their house value?
We
Because
just discussed that. I think the country club is a unique situation.
it is, but per code, I'm supposed to put things at market value, and I can't show favoritism. I mean, if there was two of them, one was doing well and one wasn't, is that management? Is it, I mean,
Well, that would enter into this, but. so
Yeah.
In other words, the three of us are the only way it's gonna be. able to-
yeah, it's pretty much out of my
I think we come up
hands.
with other comparables.
And Al and I did that, I went in and I put a vacancy on the country club. Al and I spent quite a,
How much did you take it down?
Morning.
then?
Morning, how you doing?
it's about 100,000.
Okay, so
I mean, I did as much as I possibly could. We compared it a lot to Worth County.
so 12-14% is what she took off.
Yeah, I mean, and I had taken before, when commercial got a 10% across the board, prior to that, 2 years ago, I took that off for them too. I mean, it's just, to be honest, it is out of my hands. It's just,
So we're looking at just doing a rebate this year, see if anything happens with your board review.
yeah,
And then,
yeah, fair enough. I mean, they have the right as anyone else, to come in.
Yeah.
But it's just hard when, hi. When,
Do you want to end our meeting so they can start theirs?
Oh, we got a few minutes, yeah, we're supposed to be discussing it.
No, but-
Let's ask the two newcomers. If we're being approached by I guess, business. Right now, they're paying $18,000 in tax, and they're not making it. Would you favor a reduction in their taxes to make them viable, or let them go under and not get any? Then we would get no tax out of it.
it's a public meeting, we might as well tell them exactly what it is.
Yeah, but I didn't want to tell them that yet, so they wouldn't be
It
biased.
depends on
It's the Rice
who it
Lake,
is, where it
it's the Rice
is.
Lake Country Club, and if the golf course closes and becomes a field again, the property values were tank out there so bad that we would lose way more than what we would ever give them in forgiveness.
So who ends up with it?
Well, we don't wanna end up with it.
Well, yeah.
Well, if it goes,
City bought the Four City one.
Oh, really?
so it's not taxed anymore.
So
Same with Rouse, that's county owned, so we don't get any tax revenue on
If
that.
we start doing any taxes, the school doesn't pay taxes, and we'd rather keep them for profit.
We're struggling with what to do. I mean, that's,
Yeah,
Is Bruce's still viable?
But
Yeah.
We own that, there's no taxes there.
the county owns the land and they lease it as a nonprofit.
And that's why I'd go out of the county is because, like, Lorne Office's campground was another situation. I mean, think of another campground that is taxable.
so
Worth County.
Yeah,
if you would go that route to lower the taxes, does that set precedence?
Yeah, I
for
understand.
other things.
We're not lowering taxes, we're looking at a rebate.
Okay, tax rebate, whatever. But is that setting
So that do we
precedent?
lower it to every struggling business?
I'm just
But a lot of
throwing it
them,
out
other
there.
struggling businesses wouldn't create a tax devaluation in the area. Not a big one, unless it's like Winnebago goes, you know, I mean, they're gonna create
They're
a
in
huge
another
tax
county.
devaluation.
Well,
Thank goodness.
That's Forest City and Hancock County's problem, yeah.
Yeah, there, yeah.
We got 5%.
That's a tough question.
And Lake Mills.
I guess if you could justify it within a program somehow, through like economic development or through something like that, I can see, I guess I'd definitely talk to the county attorney about it. But you just don't want to set yourself up for, you know.
And then if you give the rebate, does that ensure that they're going to stay viable?
Well,
I mean, are you putting a
we've
Band-Aid on it?
we've saved half of tax revenue for one more year, you know,
Right,
so.
right.
And we don't know if the schools have the ability to give them a rebate too, we don't know.
Do they have a plan in process of what they can do to up their memberships and promote the golf course, possibly more so than what is
It's a
currently?
nationwide trend.
Oh, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's, they are closing left and right.
We make a heck of a disc golf course.
Just,
Like I said, I'm pretty sure it was on the news the other night that Rochester was closing 2 of their.
Okay.
If they can't make it in Rochester.
how are you?
Good, how are you?
You have 1 minute to close our meeting.
All right,